Hey guys, we will be looking at episode 3 of a scenario where civilization starts over. Now, in this scenario, the first thing that we will be looking at is, in the last episode I said that, well, you might not have been able to hear me that well, the cyan team and the red team were forming a sort of alliance against the green and blue team as they're becoming way too powerful. The green team, I'd say the green country might even be the biggest, the strongest country right now. Not the biggest, though. And we also saw the discoveration of this island here. But we'll be, first, a quick thing. Lime will now be expanding a bit and making a border with the cyan team. And now that they know the full landmass, they will be basically exploring the rest of it. And they will explore all this area. And then they'll explore big parts of this area. And eventually they will explore this whole island. Then we'll be looking at this coalition now. The cyan team and the red team against the blue and the green team. So first things first, the red team's plan was to sweep through the blue team. They would sweep through the blue team, and the cyan team would just do nothing. And then the red team would attack the green team, and the cyan team would help from the top. And they also asked the purple team, and the purple team said they would help invade the blue and green team. So the red team here will start by invading into the blue team. They will push over here, and of course the blue team is weaker than them, and they already beat them in a war. But now the blue team is a bit stronger from this because they made an alliance, and they have to be strong enough with their for their allies' approval or whatever in this alliance. But they will immediately be losing a lot of sea land, and they will be being pushed in a lot here. But the blue team will be doing a bit of pushing back, freeing up a bit of their territory and managing to do a hard push to encircle red troops. But this doesn't really last for long because red troops are still just attacking the blue troops, and they take back their ocean border, and red is swiftly pushing into blue territory. Now, at this point, green is sending them aid, so it's getting harder for them to push, but eventually they will make a hard push and circle lots of blue troops. More green troops are on this area, but this is all just blue troops in here, and they manage to get them off to a tiny little city. There is a city here. Now, I don't have a city where. I might add a city where. You might see that in the 4th episode, but not in this episode. They push them back to a small city, and they start improving this front line over here, but it's not going as well as they would like it to. So they're pushing in slower. But they make a naval landing. They beat the blue's navy because the green's navy isn't here. But the green has a big navy. But the green's navy isn't here. And the red team will be now taking over key parts of this blue island. And because the blues don't have many troops here, although the reds didn't send many troops, the blues don't have many troops here. Eventually they will lose this island to the reds. And reds will also eventually take over this city, but they will stop pushing to the blue team because they just can't. But the blue team will decide to sort of make peace, and the reason why is because Red was making that naval landing over there, the purple team, the magenta team, I should say, the magenta team was also deciding to invade into them, and they pretty quickly take over lots of blue land, because blue was not expecting this. They didn't know about this alliance. And they were losing land pretty fast, and they lost this whole colony. And the greens didn't have any troops on their colony. Well, they did, just they didn't send any troops to help the blue colony. And they make a peace deal where blue loses a lot of land. So first, we will be looking at magenta's side of this peace deal. Magenta will gain all this blue colony back, just because, the blues lost. And they lose this colony now. And the red team now will get a lot of their claim. That much of their claim, which takes over the blues capital, which again, it was like there. It takes over the blue capital, but fortunately, you can't see the capitals. And they'll also take over this whole colony. And now there's a peace deal. Blue will keep all this land still, though. But even though they made a peace deal, they're still going to stab their back. The Reds, even though they just made a peace deal, the Reds are still going to be invading into blue land. Oopsies. The Reds will still be invading into blue land. And even though they made a peace deal and they said that they won't attack the blues, they're still attacking the blues. And from this colony, they'll be making a small little naval landing down here. And they'll be pushing, and they'll eventually connect up this area, encircling a lot of blue troops. And again, pushing them into just a small city, a bit bigger, but still small. Eventually they'll take this city, and while this is happening, the magenta team will be making a landing on this other blue colony. Landing over here and swiftly taking over a lot of this land. And green decides, why are they even helping them? And the greens break their alliance with the blue just because they'll just lose land overall. And eventually, with a bit more red invasion, the blue team will surrender. And in this peace deal, blue team will cease to exist, but it goes differently. So the blues team, the green team will take this much, what's left of the blue team, and the rest of the land is given to the two other colors, the magenta and the red. Of course, red gets all of its claims. And again, just like in the war in the first or second episode, they will just be expanding because they just won a war, and again, they feel confident. And red will expand a lot up this coastline, and they will expand and take over all the land in this area that I'm showing you. And the magenta team will get all their claim. This new colony now goes over to the magenta team. And the magenta team the greens aren't really taking care of this colony, so the magenta team will decide to just do a little invasion. They will absolutely sweep through the greens over here in this area. Bye-bye, greens. And then in the peace deal here, the magenta team just gets the whole colony. Greens really liked that colony, but they weren't holding on to it well enough. So the magenta team just gets it, but for a price. The green team will get this colony down here. So they're sort of trading colonies, but overall still magenta team gained more land. So yeah. And now we'll be looking at a bit of exploration. During the war, no one really explored. But now, for trade routes, red will be exploring over here. And they'll keep on sending voyages back and forth with their new ally. Now there's a three-way alliance. Greens didn't really do any, and the cyan team didn't really do anything, but they're still part of the alliance. Green isn't part of the alliance, but yeah. And eventually they will have explored all this area. And now the red team will be exploring this island more. The red team will be exploring this island more. They will be exploring along the coast this way a lot. And going up along the coasts. And they'll be going around this sort of bumpy thing. And they will, yeah. They've gone around the coast that far and a bit up this way, just not as much because they're not as focused in on this way. And the magenta team decided to make trade routes easier by going there. And they try to explore a bit themselves, and they do. And they explore this little peninsula. And they will be going along in this direction and exploring all of this peninsula too. And they will have explored this whole region. And they will meet up here, meaning they have found the size of this island. It's bigger than they thought it would be. It's bigger than this island. They thought it'd be around the size of this island, but smaller than this island. Eventually, they'll also connect up here. And now they've explored all the outer area. And the purple team and the magenta team will set up a new colony. This colony will be set up over mainly in this peninsula, and then they'll have another colony set up over here. And they'll be doing a bit of exploring. Well, the red team will also be setting up a colony, and that colony will be over in this bottom area. It'll be really small, and it'll be just over here. It's actually not really small. It's decent size, probably around the size of this island, maybe a bit smaller. But red team, we will have two more events happening in this episode. First event is that red team didn't know about the shipwreck. They don't really know what happened, and they want to find out what happened with the shipwreck. And so they set sail again, and they try to go on the same course, but they end up going off course. And what's with this pixely? Why is it so pixely? and they'll end up landing over here. What? Why is it so pixelated? Why is it so pixelated? They will make a landing over here, and they will be really excited about this new island they found. And now, I said there's going to be another event. Well, this another event is happening. They will be exploring the island. And while this other event would be happening, they would have explored around this much of the island all the way up to here. And they would have made trade routes, sort of. And then they also found this island here. And they will explore a lot of that island. Well, this event that will be happening will be some new countries forming. And I realize I don't have enough countries. This is sort of just make up for that fact. And and a lot of new countries will be popping up. And this is due to the Cyan team. The Cyan team has barely any population. And they expanded their country a lot. Like a lot. And they are just not enough population. And it will split up into quite a bit of countries. And these are all the countries. Here is all the colonies. Yeah, so new countries. Oops, whoopsies. That's a little similar to Reg. Know that they're different, okay? Well, we'll see you guys in the next episode. What if civilization started over on a fantasy planet? Bye.